All right, so I'm finally doing my first check-in. I would say weekly check-in, but it's been like 10 days. In case you didn't know, I'm Dr. Megan, and I guide people in growing, learning, and cultivating connection and curiosity. And right now, I'm doing a challenge for myself to try to overcome the various weight gain issues that come with perimenopause. The two main focuses right now are diet and fitness. And the first week, I did manage to get in my 2 workouts instead of 3, but I went to an Ohio State game and I went to Cedar Point and walked a ton. So I definitely got in some fitness on those 2 days. It just wasn't strength training. And I managed to stick to the diet goals when I was here, but I definitely struggled with sticking to that when I was in Columbus on Friday and Saturday. So I'm going to have to talk to my son about that. I'm pretty sure I'm going to have to eat some fish. One thing I didn't account for when creating this contract, and I think is a really good reflection point if you're a behavior analyst, educator, parent, is what we would typically refer to as antecedent, looking at kind of setting events, and that's the dramatic shift that I know can happen in hormones during perimenopause. And it's honestly been several months since I've experienced that, so I didn't even think to include some sort of, accommodation, if you will, within the contract around the hormone shifts. And for whatever reason, you can see it, like I have this lovely huge pimple here, and I have some here, I had one here and some up here. That's my physical way of knowing, like, oh crap, my hormones are insane right now, insanely fluctuating. So for me, what that means is it's very difficult to get things done for a few days. I might have more migraines. I don't have as much energy. I'm very emotional and not just not very motivated. And while I have various supplements and things that I'm doing to help navigate all of that, there's obviously still going to be some rough days. And I didn't do horrible with my diet, but I had like zero energy to get any workouts in during those days this week. And obviously it's Thursday, and I was hoping to do my check-ins on Mondays, and here we are. So something I need to account for. I am a big fan of being flexible and having self-compassion and aligning with your values. So I haven't, like, while I've been in these couple days, been in this state, I haven't completely ditched the plan or given up on myself or anything, but the contract I signed with my son, I definitely didn't put any details in there about, are there any accommodations for mom when she's having these, heavy fluctuations in hormones or just other life events, and what would those accommodations look like? So when I get him back this weekend, we're probably going to have a little talk about that and see if we want to agree on adjusting the contract to be more realistic, or if he's just going to hold me to eating the fish and be more of a rigid behavior analyst. How does this apply for the work you might be doing if you're following me or following my pages? Well, I already mentioned, it definitely highlights when we're creating contracts for our clients, the need to possibly have, instead of it just being like this 3-step thing and like this person's going to do this and like these are the goals and the outcomes and all of that kind of stuff, like knowing ahead of time what are some of the barriers, what are some of the problems that might be encountered, and what accommodations and supports are we going to have in place when those situations arise, instead of just being like, nope, no matter what is happening in your life, you have to stick to this plan. Otherwise, like X procedure, happens, like whatever, if it's punishment or negative reinforcement or whatever it is. So here's to hoping that my son is flexible with me and we can update the contract this weekend, and I'll let you know how it goes when I hopefully check in on Monday. If this is something that's of interest to you, whether it's learning about behavior analysis in real life or how you can do better as a behavior analyst, or maybe you're a woman going through perimenopause or in your 30s and knowing that time is going to be approaching sooner rather than later, feel free to give me a follow.